Hey everybody, it's Janice with Creating Through Chaos, and we're going to start this project off with a large paint stirrer. And I cut the top off with my miter shears. I got these at Lowe's. Next, I'm going to take my antique wax and I am going to stain the stick, and I'm going to stain both sides and the edges. Once that was dry, I am going to paint the top half about a third of the way down with some antique white paint. And I'm just going to do a quick coat of this. It doesn't have to be full coverage. I'm not going to do a second coat. I kind of want some of the brown to come through, or the stain to come through. Once I had that all painted, I'm going to take some orange paint, and this is just a harvest orange, I believe the color was, and you're just going to paint the bottom half. And again, I'm not doing full coverage. Don't be stressed about that, and I'm going to meet up with that white. And this is going to be the top and bottom half of our Scarecrow's body. Next, I cut a triangle out of a craft stick, and I'm just going to paint that orange also. And it's kind of like a funky triangle. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then I cut a circle out of burlap, and then I took some raffia and tied knots in the center of them. Then I grabbed a little bit of fiberfill for the hat. Next, I'm going to take those pieces of raffia and I'm going to hot glue them to the top of this paint stick. So I just hot glued right in the center of my knot. And then the other piece, which is going to be his bangs, I just hot glued those to the top. So he's got some wild hair right now. Next, I'm going to take that circle and I'm going to wrap it around the top of the stick. I'm going to pull out some of that fiberfill. I just wanted his hat to have a little bit of a bump to it, not too much. Then I'm going to take that circle and just kind of wrap it around his head. And then I'm going to tie it off with some twine. So I'm just going to put some twine right here, halfway down, and then just pull as tight as I can, and then tie a knot. And then before I finish tying that off, I'm just going to kind of fix the hat and glue some of the hair in places, and then give him a little bit of a trim because his hair was a little crazy. So just trim off some of that extra, and then glue the raffia up there, and that will also help a little bit hold the hat. Once I had that all done, I'm going to just pull that twine to the back and then tie it again in a knot. Next, I'm going to glue that little triangle on right on the middle of his face. And then I'm just going to take my paintbrush and dip it in the black paint and then do two eyes. I ended up moving the eyes a little bit closer to the nose. I didn't like this placement, but they're super easy to make. Just dip the back of your paintbrush in some black paint and you're good to go. Next, I just took a strip of burlap and I'm going to make like a little pocket. So I'm going to hot glue one side and then hot glue the other side. Make sure that it's all even. And then pull off that extra burlap that likes to pull out and trim it up. And then I'm going to cut the bottom half and then glue that also. And just make a little cute little pocket. Next, I'm going to take that burlap and I am going to hot glue it onto the front of his body. And I just stuck a piece of acrylic that I had. It's like an acrylic stamper inside so that it doesn't glue the burlap together. So I'm just going to hold that on for a minute and then pull that out. And I'll clean that off later. Then I'm just going to take a paintbrush and just make sure that that's really secure in there. And now he has a little pocket. Next, I'm going to take a fabric strip, and this has been coffee dyed. And I'm just going to tie that in a knot on the side of his neck. Just kind of get it to the length that I want it. And then tie it in a knot, and then just cut off the excess. Then I'm going to take another piece of that fabric, the one I just cut off, and I am going to add that to the top of his hat right over that twine that we put on. So I'm just going to just put it up there and then tie a knot in it. And it wasn't wanting to sit the way that I wanted it to. So try that again. And there we go. And then just cut off the excess. You can leave it long if you want. I just wanted it to be smaller. Next, I'm going to take this candle that I had, and I'm going to put that right in his pouch, and it's just a grubby candle that I had. I'm going to add some Sweet Annie and some little berries. I'm just going to fill this pocket right up. Add some more Sweet Annie. I really want it to be full. Then I added some sunflowers to it, and I think those were the perfect touch. Then I'm going to take these little pumpkins that I had, and they were on these little pieces of wire, so I'm going to stick those right underneath where I added all the florals. And then I am going to add a little bit of Spanish moss underneath those pumpkins. So I'm just going to put some hot glue down and then put the Spanish moss right underneath that. That'll hold those pumpkins in. And look how cute this is so far. And as you can see, I moved his little bow to this other side so that you could see it. Next, I'm going to take this little crow stamp on this little grubby tag that I had. So this is just a tag that I coffee dyed. I'm going to add this little crow and then the words Happy Fall to the tag. So I'm just going to put happy right there and then fall right underneath it. And these stamps, I don't know if I got them on Amazon or if I got them off Temu. I can't remember, but one of the two places is where I got the stamps. And I have a ton of stamps. I collect them. Then I'm going to take a rusty safety pin and bell, and I'm going to attach that tag right to the front of this little pouch. And then I added a piece of burlap with another piece of the fabric that I used for his bows onto the bottom. And I think this turned out so absolutely adorable. How stinking cute is this? It was so easy to make, and you could just kind of do whatever you wanted with this. And look, you can get a close-up of the pouch and how adorable it is. I absolutely love this project. I think it turned out so super cute, and it was fun to make. And you can add your own spin to it, use different florals, use different colored fabrics, different colored paints. I think it's just so much fun to take this project and let your imagination run wild. I hope this inspires you to make one. Thank you for watching, and as always, don't forget to spread the chaos.